Hey guys, today a tool video about a lost and dying art, torch welding. I'll give you a little bit of background information on torch welding. I'll show you the tools of the trade, and I'll talk to you about why I don't recommend that you get into torch welding. There's still some little pockets of people who are into torch welding. A lot of them are in aviation or some kind of old school restoration. Torch welding, what is it? You're getting the metal heated up hot enough to be molten using a chemical heat instead of an electric arc heat like you are in the other forms of welding. I'm sure most of you out there are familiar with a cutting torch, so this uses a similar setup. And a lot of people try to torch weld the first time with a big old cutting torch with some welding tips stuck on. And this is really an approach to be avoided. A cutting torch is huge and heavy, and when you're welding, you need to be able to very finely manipulate and move things, as I'm sure you're familiar with if you've done any other form of welding. Let's look at some of the tools of the trade here. We have igniters. There's the kind that everyone has, and here's the better kind. Essentially, you touch this down, it's got a little piezoelectric device in here and creates a spark, so all you have to do is, and you're off to the races. That's awesome. Various fluxes. That's actually a brazing flux. We've got some aluminum welding fluxes. I'll be up front with you, I never actually tried aluminum welding with an oxyacetylene torch. It's a very niche, very novel thing. Very few people do it, and for good reason. The TIG process is going to be way better for you if you want to weld aluminum. We've got a stainless steel flux. Again, if you're welding aluminum, that is a MIG aluminum wire spool. That's actually what you use as your filler rod. And there's also special lenses that you can buy, because when you're welding aluminum, there's an orange flare that makes it really difficult to see. There's certain lenses out there that can filter that out. There's about like 3 different manufacturers that make one. This one's the cheapest one. The best one is made by this company here, TM Technologies, and we'll talk about them some more, because that is really who you're going to want to go to if you do veer off into this little world of gas welding. Here we have the torch. This is the torch setup that is sold by TM Technologies, and it is really the best torch for this. It's just the perfect size and very light and maneuverable. They also sell these lightweight hoses, which definitely I would go with those. And the typical oxyacetylene hose is big, like a shop airline or something, not maneuverable at all, super heavy. You really want to get as little weight in your hand as possible so you can just finely manipulate that little feather of a flame when you're working. Here's the various tips, and these are made by TM Technologies again, and they make this storage. They call it the fish wrench. Quite a cool tool. It's got lots of little features here, little wrench openings, so you can change tips and do various functions on the torch. That's really nice. A tip cleaner, which you're familiar with if you've ever played with oxyacetylene. A couple adapters. These are to adapt the lightweight flexible hose to a standard oxyacetylene rig that you'll find in a shop. Here is your eye gear. Got to protect your eyes. You typically use a shade 5 for oxyacetylene welding. So how it works is that the whole thing flips up and down, on and off your eyes, kind of like a welding hood. Much nicer user experience than the typical cheapo oxyacetylene welding goggles. I'll leave some links in the description to point you in the right direction if you want some of this stuff. Again, TM Technologies or Tin Man, he's really going to be your main resource when it comes to this stuff.